Live the Dream Media Network, Arizona's premier live podcast studio and online radio.
Good morning, welcome to Southwest Flavor. Happy Tuesday to everyone. This week is, and we have a special guest coming on today. He is the head coach of Miami of Ohio. He is the head football coach of the Red Hawks. Welcome, Coach Chuck Martin. How are you doing this morning?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good, really good. Welcome back to Tucson. You guys were here last year and came away with a victory in the Arizona Bowl, and you're looking to do the same thing this year.
Yeah, no, that's most of the reason I'm doing good because we're going to be there shortly, and we can't wait to get there. Not just for the game, obviously, we're going there to try to win a game and try to be the first ever repeat champions of the Snoop Arizona Bowl, but also just the hospitality that not just the bowl. The bowl people were beyond amazing, but Snoop's people are amazing, and then the whole city of Tucson was. So we had an incredible bowl experience, and we're really excited to get back there and have another one.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I'm sure that you're loving coming over here to the 70-degree weather. I think our game day forecast is about 70 degrees, and I think the forecast there in Miami of Ohio is probably about 56 or 54 with a bunch of clouds.
Yeah, it was -9 here a week ago, so we're definitely looking forward to getting to Arizona, enjoying some of that weather for sure.
Wow, -9. I can't even imagine that. I grew up here in Tucson, and I've been here in Tucson all my life. But we did actually, a few years ago, we went to the AeroSeal headquarters, which is in Miamisburg, Ohio, and we stayed
Yeah,
in Monroe, Ohio. So, and when we got there, we were there in April, and I think it was about 14 degrees and snowing when we got there.
yeah,
So
that's not great.
no, quite a difference from Tucson because we probably left Tucson and it was probably somewhere around 75 or 80 degrees when we left Tucson. So it was a
Yeah,
shock to us.
not just the weather, but the views and just different if you're in the Midwest, which I've been in the Midwest, and we got a lot of flat land and not you don't get to wake up in the morning to 75-degree weather in December and look at some mountains is pretty. You guys take that for granted because that's every day for you guys, but for us, it's the whole thing was amazing last year, and the place we stay is amazing. So we can't wait to get out there and spend some time.
That's true. That's true. We do take it for granted. I mean, I'm a cyclist and I do a lot of mountain biking, and so we see a lot of mountains and a lot of great scenery every day. But let's talk about Miami of Ohio. You guys are in the Mid American Conference. You're in Oxford, Ohio, and you've been there since 2014, right?
Yes. And we are saying coaching's like dog years, so that's like 84 years, of
Right.
coaching. The way they hire and fire these days to be anywhere more than 30 minutes is a chore. So being here 12 years is, we're proud of what we've done. Miami's known as the cradle of coaches. We have this great football tradition. The Bo Schembechlers, Eric Parseghians, Woody Hayes, just to name a few, started at Miami and moved on to obviously larger and great things, but took over 12 years ago. They lost 16 straight games, so we're at the bottom of college football when we took over.
Wow.
We're really, really not very good. We were 5-25 my first 2.5 years here, so we started off and started basically from scratch and built a program, and now we've had the best record in our league for the last 9 years, and we've done, 3 straight MAC championships. So we've got Miami back to being the proud program that it was, and we've got great kids. One of the top public schools in the country academically. So we're still a little bit old school. We still believe in the student athlete here at Miami, and I know that's harder and harder because with the transfer portal, we used to sell the degree so much, but now kids want to know if they come to Miami, if they do good, because they go someplace and make a ton of money. So
Ah,
times have changed. Times have changed, but we still have offer the student athlete a lot at Miami.
right, right. Yeah, tell us a little bit about that. You know how the NIL and the transfer portal and everything has changed.
Yeah, well, it's changed college football to, it's like I said, we had a receiver that had a breakout year, a year ago and went to Power Four, made $1 million, and
Yeah.
So when you're trying to sell the degree, they're like, "Well, I want to be like him." Like you get to my, I say, you get a Miami degree, you go make $1 million, but it take a few years. This kid did it his junior year in college, so um, yeah, it just changed everything. We used to build rosters and have a long term plan in mind. Now I say you build a 1 year roster. Like we're going to be here for 1 year, and then we'll take inventory in December. Who's coming? Who's going? And um, you're going to lose some good players when you're a G5 school like us, but we're also going to bring in some good players too. So is makes your job more time consuming, but at the end of the day, you're still getting to coach college kids and coaching a game you love. So I would say it beats working for a living.
That's right. That's true. That's true. Yeah, I can't. I mean, you and I are pretty close in age, and I just can't imagine being a 20-year-old kid and being offered a million or a couple million to play a college sport. I mean, it's really changed over the years.
Yeah, no, it's pretty amazing. It's changed over the last 5 years. Like where we are now, I don't know, I'm not even sure how we got here, but we're here, and that's the game. And Indiana's the #1 team in the country because they've got deep pockets, and they've obviously got a great coach, but they've got deep pockets. They went from 3 years ago they were 2 wins to they've built as good a roster as anybody has. So it's pretty amazing how times have changed so quickly and the game has changed. And but like I always say, no one everybody wants to know, what do you think about the portal, or what do you think about NIL? I said, no one's ever asked me. I don't even think twice. Like it is what it is. The rules change, and you either change with them, or you don't. And if you don't, you're probably gonna get left far behind. So we're trying to change as much as we can and get up with the times, and our school's done a good job of that.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, the world just keeps moving forward, whether you move with it or not. So you have to keep going forward with it. So let's talk a little bit about your history too, because you coached at Division II Grand Valley State College from 2004 through 2009, and you had a 74-7 record. So that was really impressive. And then you went to Notre Dame, and you were the offensive coordinator there.
Yeah, no, I've had a good run. I worked for Brian Kelly twice. I worked for him at Grand Valley. I was an assistant at Grand Valley from 2000 2003, and I was the defensive coordinator for Coach Kelly. And we won a couple national titles in 2002, 2003. And then he left to move on, and I took over as the head coach there. And like you said, hey, we had a good run there, won a couple more national titles. So we won 4 national titles in 9 years at Grand Valley, which was
Oh,
awesome.
wow. Yeah.
Two years I was the defense coordinator, 2 years I was the offense coordinator. Then went to Notre Dame. Actually, went to Notre Dame as a secondary coach for 2 years, and then I switched to offensive coordinator year 3, and that was the year we lost to Alabama in the national championship game that year. So that was, again, it wasn't great. We lost the national championship game, but it was a lot of fun getting there.
Right.
And then I moved on to Miami and decided, for whatever reason, I thought rebuilding an 0-16 program would be a good time. They say there's a fine line between courageousness and foolishness. So, but yeah, no, we've had a good run, and I've been very blessed. A lot of coaches move a lot. I would say I've only moved twice in the last 25 years, which for coaches is pretty amazing. I
Yeah.
got to Miami. I got to Miami. My daughter was in 4th grade. Now she's a junior at Miami.
Oh,
So I don't think when we moved here, I thought my daughter would be going to school at Miami, at least with me being here. So yeah, we've had a great run. It's been a lot of fun.
all right. Very good. Very good. And where you're located in Oxford, the population's only about 23,000. What kind of challenges do you see in a small college town? Is there any kind of recruiting challenges
The
in
only
such?
challenge is getting it's not easy to get to Oxford.
Okay.
If you can get them to Oxford, the town sells itself. We've been, ranked the #1 college campus numerous times. We're always in the top 10 of best places to go to school. So I would say it's like 38,000 people in Oxford. It's like 19 when the students aren't here. Like half the population is the campus.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So but there's a lot of people come from far and near to spend time. It's the students call it Ox Vegas. That's the nickname of the town. So it's a very, very, we're a high academic school, but it's a very fun unique college town. The town is set up for all these students. Everything in the town is set up for students to have a great experience, whether it be the different shops or the eating places or the bars. Everything is generated because it wouldn't survive in this town if the students don't go to it. So it's a pretty amazing place to go to school. I've been here 12 years. I've met thousands of alums. I've never met an unhappy Miami alum. Like, everybody loved going to Miami. So yes, it's a little bit off the beaten path. You got to kind of, the last 25 minutes is you're kind of going some backwards. Then you get to Oxford. Oxford, I would say it's like Dorothy opened the door to Oz. It's a pretty nice place.
Cool. We're gonna have to take a trip over there and check it out. Definitely.
You will. The parents' weekends are big around here. The parents they come back and they enjoy Oxford. It's like old school.
Oh wow. So this year, you have a record of 7-6, and I believe that you were you're tied for second place, right, in the MAC?
Yeah, we're in the MAC championship game. We lost a week ago
Okay.
to Western Michigan, the MAC title game. We had beaten them during the regular season in a really close game, and then we lost to them 2 weeks ago. We lost to them in the MAC championship game. So it's the third straight MAC championship game for us, which is hadn't been done in over a
Yeah.
decade. Hard to do. So we had a big transition year. We won in 23, we lost in 24, but we had basically the same team. We had a bunch of veterans. We lost 28 seniors a year ago, so we're always predicted up there 1 or 2 in the league. We weren't as predicted high because we lost our whole offense and over half our defense. So we only had like 6 out of 22 starters back, and we had lost. Like, we didn't have anybody that played on offense in this MAC championship game hadn't played in one before, even though we're in our third straight. So we are a very young, inexperienced team this year. And our kids kind of hung in there. We got better as the year went on. We found a way we didn't win it, but we found a way to get back there, which was a surprise to a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah. Tell us about some of your starters, your quarterback, your wide receiver.
Yeah, no, it's been weird. We're down to our third quarterback.
Yeah.
So we have a freshman that's only played 3 games, but he won the last 2 regular season games, which helped us get here. And he was our third string to start the year. He was actually a third string going into week 9. He was our third string quarterback, and then some things happened, and he ends up being our starter and helped us win the last 2. We have a really talented receiver in Cam Perry, who I don't know if he ended, but mostly I think he did, but led the nation in yards per catch. So he's really a big play guy that gets a lot of big plays for us. That's how you lead the nation in yards per catch. So, and then we're young. Like everywhere else on offense, we're young. We got new guys, and they've got, like I said, they've gotten a lot better as the year have gone on, but they're still in finishing their first year starting. So there should be some really good times ahead for us.
Oh yeah, yeah. Cam Perry had 4 100-yard games, and I believe he was averaging, I think, 23 yards per game,
Yes.
or 23 yards per catch. Yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty amazing. So he's proud of him because he's in our program. He transferred in from a year ago from Indiana. He didn't really play, and he struggled just to try to get his footing. And then another offseason, he really kind of figured things out and really matured and had a monster year for us. So I was great example for kids that go to college. It's hard. It's hard in school. It's different than high school. It's hard in sports. It's different than high school. And he's one that went to Indiana, didn't find any success for a couple years, and came here, didn't find any success, but stuck with it. And a lot of kids just kind of, blame or fade off or quit or whatever. And he stuck with it. And then his 4th year in college, he kind of had this breakout year. So a lot of my young guys, I just tell them, like, hey, you think it's hard, but stick with it because you can overcome it. You can come out the other end looking pretty good. And Cam did that.
Right, right. I mean, it's the culture that you've built. You've been there for 12 years, and you build this culture, winning. Just it's kind of the next man up, right?
Yeah, this year for sure. I mean, it's always that way for everybody, but we're down to our third tailback, our third middle linebacker, our third quarterback, our third, like we've just had a lot of attrition. Everybody has some, and just this is our years. We had a ton of attrition, and again, if you told me Thomas Gatkowski is going to be the guy that helps you get to the MAC championship game, he's our quarterback, I'd be like, well, he's not even going to play this year, so I don't know really you obviously don't know what you're talking about because. But then there's like the last 2 games of the year, he's throwing touchdown passes. And I would say the last game of the year, he threw first 2 touchdown passes to Braylon Isom. Braylon Isom didn't really play till week 7. And Thomas Kowski didn't play till week 11. And I'm like, I didn't really think this would be the combination Gatkowski to ice him. That's leading us back to Detroit. But again, like you said, next man up, and everybody goes through it. And our kids really responded well. And some of the kids, when they got their opportunity, like Thomas, did more than take advantage of. They really took off when they got their opportunity and helped us have a good season.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you just have to expect the unexpected.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about your defense also, because Miami is third in the nation with 40 sacks. I mean, that
Yeah.
definitely helped your winning.
Yeah, and it credits to our defense, and we probably have the worst pass rush we've had here in a long time, to be honest with you. Like, we've been a team that's been really good, and haven't had to pressure a lot to get pressure, like haven't had to blitz a lot to get pressure on the quarterback. And this year we weren't getting much pressure, earlier in the year. And Coach Breeken, our defense coordinator, always does an amazing job. And we probably blitzed more this year than we ever have.
Mm,
And then I look up at the end of the year, we're third in the country in sacks, and it felt like we're not very good at rushing the passer. But and then, like I said, a lot of young guys got better and better as the year went on.
sure.
And it's credit to them
That's
and
a
a
credit to
credit to
your
our
program.
coaches.
Yeah.
So where I couldn't believe, because there's a time like early in the year we were very frustrated with our lack of pass rush, and by the end of the year, you're third. And I'm like, we got third in the country in sacks. That's amazing. So
It
very
is.
proud of the defensive staff and very proud of the defensive players.
Oh yeah, yeah, and like you said, credit to your whole program, credit to your coaches, for sticking with it and just teaching those kids and having them do what they need to do.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I wanted to ask you, how does this bowl game affect your recruiting and your program overall?
Yeah, I think in general, like, one, if you can win your bowl game, it's the last game of the year. It gives you a good springboard into the next season. So that doesn't matter what bowl game win. It obviously always affects recruiting because um, bowl games are different. You're not playing on Saturday where there's like 60 games. There may be other games that day, but usually the ESPN owns most of them. They spread them out. So you're usually on, and the whole world can watch you.
Right.
Adding the fact that it's the Snoop Arizona Bowl, there's way more attention. Like, the amount of media that it created, the amount of advertising it created for our university because of, the tie-in with Snoop. Obviously, some people probably just tune in because Snoop's on the bowl, but amazing amount of media, whether social media or whatever type of media, it brought to the university. And again, anytime you can do that, it's a great thing. So all the bowls, help the university market themselves, but the Snoop Arizona Bowl is kind of right up there with the best of them as far as creating opportunities for people to learn more about our football program and learn more. And then obviously, if you win, it always helps recruiting.
Sure, sure. And I'm sure
Because
that
again, Kevin Davis was on the stage and Snoop's giving him the game MVP last year. Now, if we lose, we're not, Colorado State's on the stage and one of their players is getting the game MVP. So you have all those high school kids thinking, well, if I go to Miami, maybe I get to meet Snoop. That's a pretty good, that's a
that's a
pretty
good
good sell.
deal. Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And I'm sure all your players are excited just to, like get into the warm climate and come to a bowl game and experience just the whole bowl week.
Yeah, no, it's all the bowls are special in their own right. If you get to a warm weather bowl, that makes it a little nicer if you're from a cold weather place like we are. And then the experiences everywhere. I've never had a bad bowl experience, but I've told many people the Tucson, the Arizona Bowl, the hospitality, the opportunity for the kids, and having Snoop involved, it was probably the coolest experience we've ever had. So we were very excited to have an opportunity to come back and do it again. And like I said, I've got 40 guys in my roster that weren't even on my roster last year,
Wow.
so
Yeah.
they haven't experienced anything that we got to experience. So it'll be really cool for those first timers too to get to experience Tucson and the weather and the mountains and all the nice things, the hotel and everything that's wonderful, and then obviously Snoop on game day. So it was an amazing experience, and again, we're really looking forward to getting back there.
Yep, yep. So the game is this Saturday, the December 27th. It's at 2:30 Mountain Time, which would be 4:30 East Time, and we will be there. We'll be checking it out and rooting for you guys. And Coach, I just want to say thank you for just being so hospitable. And I mean, we reached out to you guys last year too, and unfortunately it didn't work out last year just because of your travel plans. But thank you so much for coming on the podcast and just being a great guest.
All right, no, appreciate you having me, and like I said, anything we can do for what you guys have done for us in the city of Tucson, it's been awesome. So it's appreciate having me on, and hopefully we can do it again sometime in the future.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you again, and happy travels and good luck.
Thanks.
All right. That's Southwest Flavor, and we will be back in just a couple minutes.
Hey everybody, it's Chris.
Hey, it's David Samarano.
Hey guys, it's Clint Peak over here.
Hi, I'm Blair Lametti Mathias.
And I'm Summer Smeaton.
Hey, I'm Ron Arenas.
And I'm Will Pena.
Hey guys, I'm Mike Curry.
And I'm Mike Bader.
Hi there, I'm Bruce Ash.
Hi, Ed Wilkinson here.
Hi, this is Bob Elliott.
We are Live the Dream Media. Watch and listen to all of our shows Monday through Friday, only on the Live the Dream Media Network.
In Marana, community isn't just where we live, it's who we are. And at the heart of it all is the Marana Chamber of Commerce. We are building a thriving community through connected business leadership. We start the month bright and early with Marana Mornings, sparking real conversations and connections. We celebrate growing networks at our 4th Tuesday mixers, hosted in exciting spaces. We unite visionaries and leaders at Impact Marana, driving meaningful progress together. We look ahead with Marana Insights, hearing directly from regional voices about what's next for our town. And we serve, through the passion of our board of directors and ambassadors, creating a culture of belonging through service and leadership. Because of our members, we're not just doing more, we're becoming more. Together, we're shaping the future of Marana. We are the Marana Chamber of Commerce.
Estrella Insurance on Irvington Road will help you with all your insurance needs. If you feel like you have a hard case due to a moving violation, a DUI, a suspended license or a car accident, contact us and come to Estrella Insurance on Irvington Road and get a quote today. Open late hours y hablamos español. Estrella Insurance, an agency you can trust.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Season's greetings from Pixrock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. The end of the year is near, but you do not need to fear. We can help you keep your budget in the clear. Now until the end of December, there are still federal tax credits, TEP rebates, and manufacturer rebates on select HVAC systems and tankless water heaters. Call 520-492-0748 or make your appointment online at picturerockscooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
I've had water and mold damage in my house twice. Both times I freaked out, but I called Steamy Concepts right away. If anyone tries to tell you to use someone else, just say no way and call Steamy today.
About a year ago, we had a flood in our kitchen, and we didn't think to call anyone else but Steamy Concepts. They were very professional, and we really enjoyed working with Steamy Concepts.
Steamy Concepts accepts all homeowners insurance. Call Steamy today or go to steamyconcepts.com.
Life is all about change and growth. You grow from renting to buying, your kids grow from toddling to driving, and then you grow from working to retiring. Is your insurance agent growing through life with you? I'm your local Allstate agent, Brittany Gutman. My team and I can help you navigate all those changes through home, auto, and life insurance. You're in good hands with the Brittany Gutman Allstate Insurance family. Call me at 520-797-7811 or email bgutman@allstate.com.
All right, welcome back. You're watching Southwest Flavor, and our next guest is Anthony DeFazio, who is a local legend here in Tucson.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a long list. I'm at the bottom if I'm a legend in this town.
You've been in radio and media for a long time here in Tucson, and in the extreme southwest of the United States. You were over in Kauai for a few years, also.
Yeah, I started in Tucson in 1991, way back when.
Okay.
I actually started in radio, though, in 1981 in the lovely metropolis of 29 Palms, California.
Ah, okay.
Out in the middle of the Mojave Desert.
Yeah.
It was me, 30,000 Marines. It was great. It was a great way to break in and have some fun, for sure.
How'd you get into radio?
I was living in Newport Beach, California. No, I'm not a money kid by any stretch of the imagination. I'm about as blue collar as they come. But I was working for my uncle at the time, and I was still going to school on and off and trying to find myself. And believe it or not, it was a radio commercial that came on and said something about, how would you like to enter the wonderful world of radio broadcasting? I thought, why not? So I auditioned. They took 35 auditions. 12 of us actually got into the broadcasting campaign. It was through radio station KEZY in Anaheim, California. And it was also sanctioned by Cal State Fullerton and the State Board of Education in California and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, 12 of us made the cut.
Cool.
6 of us actually got jobs.
Okay.
And as far as I know, I'm the only fool that stayed with it for 44 years. I mean, so,
wow.
Yeah. So I did that, ended up in 29 Palms. I was there for, wow, I don't even know, maybe 9-10 months.
Okay.
Then they asked me to leave. And then I ended up on a cruise ship. And I worked a cruise ship for a while. Yeah, it was fun. A friend of mine called me up and said, how would you like to be the disc jockey in a disco on a cruise ship? And I thought, well, I've got time.
Wow.
And so I went to work on a cruise ship. It was the SS Azure Seas that did San Pedro, Catalina, Ensenada.
Okay.
3 and 4 day cruises. That proved to be very, very interesting. The Love Boat had nothing on working on a cruise ship. It really did.
Yeah. The Love Boat was a G-rated
yeah, it was
version
definitely G-rated. Yeah, this was more PG-13, pushing R. And there were some wild times. It's funny when you're working with people who are on vacation.
Yes.
Because when you go on vacation, what do? Hey, you let your hair down, you have some fun, you spend some money.
You might drink a little bit more, eat a little bit more, talk to people that you don't usually talk to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when you're on the other side of that, you're looking at these people going, oh, wow. It was crazy. It was crazy. But, from there, I'm trying to even think now. I got off the cruise ship. I ended up in Holbrook, Arizona.
Oh, wow. Okay. The big city of Holbrook.
I worked a lot of big cities. Holbrook, then back to Yucca Valley, California. Payson, Arizona, Page, Arizona.
Wow.
Finally made it to the big city of Flagstaff.
Okay.
Napa, California. Sierra Vista, Arizona, Tucson, Arizona, Kauai, Oahu, back to Tucson.
Oh, I didn't know you went to Oahu right after Kauai. Okay.
Yeah, I was over there for a good year or so, and
we just went to Oahu last month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I should have called. I could have given you some tips.
Okay. I had no idea that you were there.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago, so I think things have changed. But no, I was in Tucson for 19 years, and then we bolted for Kauai.
Yeah.
Came back 6 years later, been back for the last 9 years. So out of my 44-year career, 28 of those have been spent here in Tucson.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah, and thank you.
No, it's been a pleasure. I have worked with some of the best in our industry, and they've been right here in this community.
Yeah.
You made some great friendships, such as yourself. You and I go back a number of years as well.
Right. Well, we were talking about that. I was telling you earlier that it's all your fault that I'm here.
It is.
You called me, 16 years ago.
Yep.
Said, hey, you cold called me. We didn't know each other. He said, hey, I have this radio show with these two guys, D. Simone and Higgins, and I think you'd be a good fit advertising on them. So I listened to them. I'd never heard of them before. I mean, their show was under a year old back then. I listened to them for a couple of weeks and said, yeah, that would be a good fit. And then they ended up bringing me on once a month. And that was kind of the start of everything.
Yeah, that was Good News Communications. Doug and Mary Martin, just wonderful people, salt of the earth.
They are.
That was a great way for you and I to get acquainted, not only as business partners, but also we created a great friendship. You and your wife were wonderful people. But I worked for Good News Communications. I worked with, the old Clear Channel Radio, which was KRQ, KNST, Cool FM, which later became The Mountain, which later became I don't know what. Scripps. I worked for Journal. I worked for Arizona Lotus. Cumulus is about the only one I didn't go to work for.
Okay.
Kenny Kowalczyk did try to hire me, and I turned him down many, many years ago. But they're the only radio group, really major radio group in town that I never really had the opportunity to work with. But I kind of spin my wheels and worked for all of them.
Yeah, right.
So.
And I followed you pretty much to all the different groups. So
yeah, you did. That jingle that you have on the air now, I sold you that many, many years ago when we were at Scripps. Yeah. So we've been running that jingle for about 8-9 years now.
At least, yeah.
But it's
that was when you came back, right? You came back from Kauai.
Came back from the islands and went to work for Scripps.
Yeah.
Scripps Radio, which also still here in town, owns K-Gun 9.
Yeah. Well, Scripps got out of the radio business, right?
They got sold the radio business off many years ago. They sold the Tucson portion to Arizona Lotus, who bought ESPN Radio and Mix FM. And it's funny because back in the day, I worked for the old Cloud 95 when I first came to Tucson in 1991. It was Duchossois Communications. And it's funny how things go around, they come around, go around, come around. It's you start here, you end up here. It's a lot in between.
There is,
but, it's just crazy. But
yeah. Well, there has been a lot of movement with radio stations and owners and different stuff.
When I look at what happened to me here in Tucson, I came in 91. Duchossois owned Cloud 95 and Power 1490, which is, of course, now ESPN Radio.
Right.
And Duchossois sold to Dennis Behan, local radio legend in his own right, a wonderful man. His daughter, Lori Browning, ran our operation, and her career, I mean, she's somebody you should really talk to. She's had an incredible career in the media. But then Behan Browning sold to Apogee Communications, which was ran by Roy Disney Jr., and he kept it for a couple of years. Then he sold off to Journal Broadcast Group, which, of course, their big flagship station was in Milwaukee, WTMJ, which is just legendary for what they've done over the years. And they also own the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel newspaper, which I think is no more, or probably just an online
What's
paper.
a newspaper?
Exactly. And then, somewhere down the road, they sold the Scripps. And it's multitude of players over the years. And when I left Journal to go to Clear Channel Radio, at first they were, I think it was 5 Star Communications. Then a week later they were something else. And then a week later they became Clear Channel. So there was so much movement in radio stations and owners back in the 90s. It literally was very hard to figure out who you were working for unless you looked at your pay stub every couple of weeks and go, oh, they're signing the checks now. And that's kind of how...
And I'm sure it's scary sometimes, having a new owner and all that. And they're like, well, are they going to make changes? Are they going to come in here and, wipe out the morning show or, whatever?
Exactly.
And,
exactly. Well, by that point in time, though, I was really 100% sales. It's funny how my radio career progressed. I was on air for about 10 years. And then I had a spell there for, 18 years where I did a lot of voice work. But I wasn't on the radio. And then when we went to the Hawaiian Islands, I found myself back on the radio and did that for about 6 years. And I come back to Tucson, I'm off the radio, back into sales 100% of the time. So when we were going through all these different ownership changes, I didn't really worry too much about my position.
Yeah.
Probably should have, though, in 2010, but that's a whole other conversation. If you were in sales, you were probably guaranteed a job as these companies kept flipping and flipping and flipping. It was more the on-air side that really had to be careful and curious about what was new ownership going to do with our show, with our station, and how were we going to move forward.
I'm sure every time there's new ownership, they have some ideas, some different creative ideas, and it must be hard to be an on-air personality having new ownership, especially if you have it just every couple of years.
Well, and I think if you look at the business as a whole today in particular, and this probably started 10, 15 years ago, though, they're hubbing out more.
Yeah.
It's not just on air, but I don't need as many on-air personalities anymore. I've got, a person in Tucson that can broadcast in Phoenix, and I can tape a show and send it to Raleigh, North Carolina, and I can do this and I can do that. So it's a shame that the industry's kind of gone that way, but it's certainly understandable. I mean, big business is big business, and they don't pay hundreds of millions of dollars or tens of millions of dollars for these operations not to make money.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
so something has to give somewhere along the way, and unfortunately, it does cost. But, my ride's been a great one. I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Speaking on that, I remember the first time I went to Kauai, I was in the rental car and we were driving somewhere, and I heard one of our local DJs from Tucson on the radio over there.
Yeah.
And like you said, they hub it out. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I had actually had Ed Alexander.
Uh-huh.
You're talking about a Tucson legend.
Well, of course, yeah.
I had Ed Alexander record some commercials for me when I was over there for Luau Kalamakoo. And we ran those for I don't know how long. And I had him record a few other things. And I utilized, Mary Martin. I utilized a few other people in Tucson to do some voice work over there as well. And luckily, they did it for free on the premise of, hey, you ever come to Kauai? I'll buy you a pina colada.
There you go.
And so it really worked out well.
Yeah.
I mean, as you can imagine, the talent pool over there is very shallow.
Yeah.
And so you utilize the connections that you had, and it really worked out well, though. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
So
tell us a little bit about going from the mainland to island life.
Oh, wow.
It's quite a different culture.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Before I even got there, I was the general manager, and before I even got there, I called everybody on the staff, introducing myself to them, and some were happy to have me come. There were some that, not so happy to have me come. But you kind of got a sense then that it was really a different vibe. I was working for Clear Channel Radio here at the time. And so I was going to a mom and pop operation. And I say mom and pop. He had 4 radio stations on Kauai, 4 on Maui, and 4 on Oahu. So it was a good-sized mom and pop operation.
Okay, yeah.
But you could sense it was different. I get over there, and my very first day, I'm not going to wear a shirt and tie, but you're in an Aloha shirt. I'm in slacks, leather shoes.
Yeah.
And I go over there and I go to meet my staff, and they're in shorts and they're in flip-flops and they're in T-shirts. And you're going, okay, first thing, change the wardrobe.
Yeah.
As I started to get involved more and more in the operation with the radio station, I started making sales calls. And I'll never forget this. I was probably there about 2 weeks, and I called on this surf shop, Kama'aina Surf. And I go down to meet the owner, Miguel, and it's a 2 o'clock appointment. And I show up at 2 o'clock, and person at the front says, well, he's not in right now, but you can sit and wait if you want. All right. So I sit, and 2:15, 2:30. So I go back, and there's another guy at the desk, and I said, hey, is Miguel coming in? And he just looks at me and goes, brah, surf's up. He pow. And I'm like, surf's up I got, brah, that's me. Pow means you're out. He's gone. He's done. And I'm like, wow. That was the island mindset.
Yeah.
So if surf's up, you're not making any sales calls. And that happened to me more than once, for crying out loud. Yeah. So it was a completely different mindset, very laid back. But you really had to understand their culture a little bit. You had to understand where they were coming from, how they do business, what they were comfortable with.
Right.
And if you did that, they would take you in. And they definitely took me in. They took my wife in. We were able to do a lot over there. From a business standpoint, we turned the operation around. It was bleeding so much red monthly. It was funny.
Okay.
It wasn't funny. But within 6 months, we were back in the black.
Okay. Wow. That's fantastic.
When we took on the morning show on Rooster Country, 99.9, country station on the island of Kauai, in my wildest dreams, I never would have imagined that you would have had a country station as successful as that one was on an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. But you come to find out that, the Paneola, the Hawaiian cowboy, big country audience over there.
Wow, okay.
And you found that the listeners there were just, they loved their radio. Okay. And I mean, I grew on them like they grew on me, and we had a bond that was, it was fabulous, absolutely fabulous. It's by far the best experience of my life, in my entire career. But you got into the lifestyle, you spent time at the beach, you did barbecues on the beach. Every day was, aloha shirts and shorts and flip-flops, or they call them slippers, and or a T-shirt or something. But, you go to a couple of formal events, and even that was just slacks and an aloha shirt.
Okay.
There was no need for a tie. I never wore a tie over there.
Wow.
I think I wore a sport coat one time. I took it to the dry cleaners. I never got it back. But it really was just wild. Just, you ate out of a lot of food trucks. Some of the best food.
Especially in Kauai.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
Just incredible. Good Mexican food was hard to come by. But there was places with great pizza.
Yes.
And sushi, if you were into sushi, and I joke about this, but it's almost like they just reach out the back window and they pull in a fish.
Yeah.
And here it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, some of the best sushi I've ever had in my entire life.
A lot of poke there.
A lot of poke, yeah. It was just great. But it was such a great experience. It really was. And I'm sorry that it ended. In hindsight, could I have stayed a little bit longer? Yeah, I probably could have, but there were some other things going on, health issues and financial things with my owner that you got, no. It's time to go. So, but it was fun. I did what everybody always said they wanted to do. I'm going to go live on an island. I did it. It was great, and I have no regrets. Lifelong friends still.
Yeah.
Some are coming out in January, like you and I were discussing.
Right.
It's no regrets. Just no regrets. It was so cool.
Very
cool.
Yeah. Well, let's take a quick commercial break, and we will be back with Southwest Flavor in just a couple minutes.
Hey, everybody, it's Chris.
Hey, it's David Samarano.
Hey, guys, it's Clint Peak over here.
Hi, I'm Blair Lametti Matthias.
And I'm Summer Smeaton.
Hey, I'm Ron Arenas.
And I'm Will Pena.
Hey, guys, I'm Mike Curry.
And I'm Mike Bader.
Hi there, I'm Bruce Ash.
Hi, Ed Wilkinson here.
Hi, this is Bob Elliott.
We are Live the Dream Media. Watch and listen to all of our shows Monday through Friday, only on the Live the Dream Media Network.
In Marana, community isn't just where we live, it's who we are. And at the heart of it all is the Marana Chamber of Commerce. We are building a thriving community through connected business leadership. We start the month bright and early with Marana Mornings, sparking real conversations and connections. We celebrate growing networks at our 4th Tuesday mixers, hosted in exciting spaces. We unite visionaries and leaders at Impact Marana, driving meaningful progress together. We look ahead with Marana Insights, hearing directly from regional voices about what's next for our town. And we serve, through the passion of our board of directors and ambassadors, creating a culture of belonging through service and leadership. Because of our members, we're not just doing more, we're becoming more. Together, we're shaping the future of Marana. We are the Marana Chamber of Commerce.
Estrella Insurance on Irvington Road will help you with all your insurance needs. If you feel like you have a hard case due to a moving violation, a DUI, a suspended license or a car accident, contact us and come to Estrella Insurance on Irvington Road and get a quote today. Open late hours y hablamos español. Estrella Insurance, an agency you can trust.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Season's greetings from Pixrock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. The end of the year is near, but you do not need to fear. We can help you keep your budget in the clear. Now until the end of December, there are still federal tax credits, TEP rebates, and manufacturer rebates on select HVAC systems and tankless water heaters. Call 520-492-0748 or make your appointment online at picturerockscooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
I've had water and mold damage in my house twice. Both times I freaked out, but I called Steamy Concepts right away. If anyone tries to tell you to use someone else, just say no way and call Steamy today.
About a year ago, we had a flood in our kitchen, and we didn't think to call anyone else but Steamy Concepts. They were very professional, and we really enjoyed working with Steamy Concepts.
Steamy Concepts accepts all homeowners insurance. Call Steamy today or go to steamyconcepts.com.
Life is all about change and growth. You grow from renting to buying, your kids grow from toddling to driving, and then you grow from working to retiring. Is your insurance agent growing through life with you? I'm your local Allstate agent, Brittany Gutman. My team and I can help you navigate all those changes through home, auto, and life insurance. You're in good hands with the Brittany Gutman Allstate Insurance family. Call me at 520-797-7811 or email bgutman@allstate.com.
We're here. We're talking with Anthony DeFazio, and you've done so much radio and media here, but you've also done a lot of sports media.
Yeah, I was lucky enough back in the 80s when I lived in Flagstaff to connect with Northern Arizona University. The radio station I worked at the time was the flagship station for the Lumberjacks, and they were looking for a public address announcer for men's basketball at the time.
Okay.
And I was referred to them by my boss and stepped in, and they liked the work I did. So I went on for 4 or 5 years doing the PA for men's basketball up there at NAU. And while I was there, I also then started serving as the radio color commentator for a number of years. And then all of a sudden I was doing play-by-play for NAU women's basketball.
Oh, wow.
I was their very first women's basketball play-by-play guy back in the 80s. Then it all kind of evolved as the years went on. When I came to Tucson, Mike Fader hired me to be the PA voice for the Tucson Toros.
Okay.
Then eventually the Tucson Sidewinders. Then that kind of led into me being the PA voice, taking over for Roger Settlemeyer the very first year we had the Arizona Diamondbacks here. Roger did the first half of the season or so, and then they plugged me in there, and I went on to do PA work for the Diamondbacks up until the time the Diamondbacks left Tucson, and I was doing the Diamondbacks and the White Sox. Occasionally, I'd get called over to High Corbett Field and do a Rockies game. I was U of A football's PA announcer for 10 years. I did some men's basketball as well. A couple of games for the Phoenix Suns preseason. They offered me a full-time job. I turned them down. It was all about money.
Yeah.
But now,
that's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games, yeah. And they wanted me to go back and forth to Phoenix. I'm like, no. But then now for the last 9 years, I've served as the public address announcer for NAU football still. I drive to Flagstaff 5-6 times a season. The university's treated me like gold for the last 9 years. Occasionally I get some radio play-by-play for men's basketball when there's conflicts with football. So yeah, I'm still dabbling. I'm retiring.
Yeah.
But NAU's always there, possibly in the future if they need me. And depending upon, like I was telling you, depends upon where I am in 6 months.
Right.
If I'm, on the road or on a beach somewhere, maybe not. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yep. Did you think that you were going to get into the sports media also?
Well, the funny thing was, that's why I got into radio.
Okay.
When I first heard that commercial and I applied for broadcasting school, I thought, okay, well, let's go on the radio. We'll be a disc jockey, but sports is really what I want to do. I mean, I grew up in Southern California. I grew up with Vin Scully. I grew up with Dick Enberg, Bob Starr, some of the biggest and the best ever in the industry. So I thought, I want to be a sports broadcaster. And my very first radio job in 29 Palms, California, they were actually looking for a basketball play-by-play and color commentator for boys basketball, well, actually high school basketball. And so I had, back in the day, a little tape recorder about the size of a phone. And I took a sports page, the LA Times, and I took the box score from an LA Lakers game one night. And that morning, I made it up. And I recorded it into this little recorder. And
That's so cool.
Yeah, doing play-by-play. I'm just going through the box score.
Right.
And I drove it up to 29 Palms, put it in their mailbox on a Sunday, and the program director called me back on Monday.
Oh, wow.
And he said it was awful. but the fact that you did it.
Yeah.
And they hired me. So that's kind of how I got hired the first time. And like I said, 10 months later, he asked me to leave. But it was that's kind of why I got into radio.
Yeah.
I really wanted to be a sports broadcaster. And I really wanted to do professional at the professional level, baseball, football, basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But then you come to realize just how limited those jobs were.
There's very few of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you become to realize the competition you're up against.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough, like I said, to do enough high school. I did some college, obviously. But the PA thing kind of fell into my lap, so I was able to dabble with the pros for spring training and stuff like that. And so, once again, no regrets. I stuck my toe in the water, and I got a good dose of it. And, would I still like to be that guy that calls Dodger games, all season long, or is doing, Fox NFL football on Sundays?
Right.
Yeah, probably. But then again, with this face, I don't know. Radio was probably a better calling for me. But yeah, it was great. I had a chance to touch it all, and it was good. It was really cool.
And you get those guys that are calling these professional games, and they're there forever.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
The John Madden, was there forever. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman have been there for a long time.
Yeah.
Even here at the U of A, Brian Jeffries, he's been doing it for a very long time.
I can remember when Brian Jeffries used to work with the late great Ray Scott.
Oh, okay.
Back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I remember listening to Brian and Ray Scott, and Ray Scott was nationally known, and Brian was his analyst at the time.
Right.
And so, and then Brian just kind of moved into that role, and Brian does a great job.
Oh, he does.
That's what I say. When you look at my play-by-play calling, and I'm okay, but when you look at a Brian Jeffries, not even close.
And it's, to me, kind of looking on the outside in, it's a whole different animal doing analyst versus the play-by-play.
It is. It really is. As the analyst, you're in your mind, you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I break this down to where I can say it in a very short snippet that makes sense?
Yeah.
As a play-by-play guy, you're just kind of watching the action and rolling with it. You're following the ball. You're following the pitch. You're following wherever the action goes. And to me, play-by-play is easier than being the analyst, quite frankly.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think as a play-by-play guy, you're in control of all of it.
Yeah.
And I'm just watching it just develop in front of me, and I'm just telling you what it is I see.
Right.
And like I say, with the analyst, though, you have a much shorter time span to develop a theory.
But as an analyst, you're also kind of a storyteller too.
You have to be.
Yeah, because you're doing some of that background
Yeah.
stories, and you're saying, oh, well, this kid came here
Yeah.
from these conditions, and he's made it up to the top now. And
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So you do have your homework.
Yeah.
You do have your homework to do, and the preparation. It's amazing how much preparation goes into each and every broadcast, and I can only imagine the stories that Brian Jeffries could tell you these days. But you put all this preparation into it, and you walk into a game with an encyclopedia of stuff. Kids Google encyclopedia. But you only use about that much.
Yeah.
And
because it has to be at the right moment, too.
Exactly.
It has to be at the right moment.
Exactly.
You get that little, like you said, a short, brief little time.
Yeah, then all of a sudden something pops into your mind. Well, last season he had 17.4 points per game, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And something you weren't even prepared for, but in the back of your mind you knew that.
Mm-hmm.
So, these little things, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
The wealth of knowledge that you have to do this and do it effectively.
Yeah, it's cool. So. I have a little story. Several years ago, back when we had the Pac-12 tournament in Vegas, and I was always the pregame and the postgame sponsor for that show. And so I got to know all the guys, the radio guys, and so they would have me on the pregame and postgame, and they got real comfortable with me and everything. So it was 2020, so March 2020. U of A plays their first game, they win it. We go out there because we're live, remote. Broadcasting right outside of T-Mobile Arena there. We're doing our post game. People are coming up to us and they're like, hey, we heard that they're going to cancel the tournament. And we're like, no, there's no way they're going to cancel the tournament. That's just too much money, too much involved. We do our post game. Next morning, I get up early. I start doing all my homework. I like you said, how many points we're going to play USC, how many points they scored against us, in the regular season, who their main players were. We played them last year in the postseason. So, I had a couple pages of notes. Get done with that, and then I flip onto ESPN.com, and it says Pac-12 tournament canceled.
I know. All that work.
So I text the radio host. I'm like, hey, is this true? He's like, yeah, I'm packing up. I'm going home.
Yeah.
I didn't get to tell any of my stories.
At a later date.
Yeah, at a later date. But my friend and I stayed in Vegas the whole weekend, and it was kind of a ghost town.
I'll bet.
Yeah, it was cool. You could walk up to any craps table, and there would be a spot there. You could roll the dice.
Win or lose with people or without people.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So it was different. I mean, because we left Sunday afternoon in Vegas, and then Monday they closed down all the casinos. So we're there for the last hours.
Yeah, that period changed a lot of people's lives, to say the least.
Yeah.
To say the least. So
very different, very different. Well, I guess we're out of time.
All right.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, you know what? Thank you. I appreciate the invite. As I was telling you off air, the memories, the emotions, all of it. 44 years, just kind of wrapping it all up in a little bundle. It's a lot.
Yeah.
You don't realize it until all of a sudden you start thinking about it, and it's amazing. But thank you for your friendship, and thank you for what we've done over the years as well. And like I say, I appreciate the invite today, and thank you.
Yeah, we'd love to have you back on if you're not on a beach somewhere and you happen to be back in Tucson.
You can have me on if I am on a beach.
That's
with
true.
Today's technology, no problem.
That's true. And thank you for everything that you've done for us.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, that's another episode of Southwest Flavor. This is our last episode of 2025. We will see you next year.